Hook. In the dimly lit corners of room 214, a quiet hospital ward held secrets whispered only by the flickering fluorescent lights overhead. Among its temporary inhabitants was James, a once renowned musician whose melodies had all but faded in the shadow of neglect. He lay in his sterile bed, staring at the ceiling, memories of past concerts echoing in his mind like distant ghosts, each note stinging with abandonment. Days blurred into one another, and with no visitors since that fateful night when his life changed forever, James often felt invisible, a mere specter in the hospital's monotonous routine. The nurses, though kind, were distracted, their conversations drifting like unplayed chords in the background. He had no one to share his thoughts with, but the guitar propped forlornly in the corner, strings silent but yearning for the touch of a hand. Often he'd close his eyes, imagining fingers dancing over the frets, but each time he reawoke to the sterile scent of antiseptic and the low hum of machines, the reality of his solitude crashed down like a heavy curtain. Emotional escalation. One evening, as the fading sunlight cast long shadows across the ward, a sound echoed through the stillness, a soft, melodic humming. James, startled, opened his eyes, and there she stood, a young woman in a faded blue dress, the kind that seemed to belong to another time. Her hair was swept back in an untamed bun, and her face bore the marks of a hard life, yet her eyes sparkled with a light that felt both foreign and familiar. She hummed a tune he knew well, one of his own songs, a melody he had composed in happier days. "Do you remember this one?" she asked softly, her voice quavering like the strings of a guitar, awaiting revival. At first he hesitated, unsure if she was a vision conjured by his lonely mind. But the warmth in her gaze drew him in, and in a moment of reckless courage, he managed a weak nod. Her presence ignited something within him, a flicker of connection in the encroaching darkness. As she sat beside him, sharing stories of her father who had once idolized him, the walls around James began to crumble. She spoke of how music had been an anchor in his life, and how it had shaped her childhood, reminding him that even in silence, his notes had carried beyond himself. But with every shared word, a gnawing question lingered in the back of his mind. Who was she really, and how did she know him? Climax. Just as the bond between them began to strengthen, her laughter faded. The smile vanished from her lips as she glanced toward the clock on the wall, panic flashing in her eyes. "I can't stay long," she whispered, her voice trembling. The shadow of something ominous hovered just out of reach. As she prepared to leave, James felt a desperate need to grasp onto her. "Wait," he called, but her form flickered like a candle in the wind. He watched, heart racing, as she backed away, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, leaving behind only a faint aroma of lavender. Resolution. Alone once again, the weight of abandonment swallowed him, but amidst the darkness, a strange warmth lingered, a flicker of hope, birthed from unexpected kindness. That night, with trembling fingers, he reached for his guitar and strummed the melody she had hummed. The notes poured out, and for the first time in years, they felt alive. As he played, a realization washed over him. She had not merely visited, she had reminded him of the gifts he still possessed, even amidst despair. The next morning, a nurse entered his room with a strange look on her face. "You received some flowers," she said. It was a small bouquet of lavender, vibrant against the dullness of the room. Attached was a note. "Thank you for sharing your music with me. I'll carry it forever. E." A chill ran down his spine. Who was E? He didn't know. But in that moment, James understood the haunting resonance of unexpected kindness. That even in darkness, connection could spark a light. And with that warmth in his heart, he began to play once more, filling the ward with renewed melodies, a haunting symphony of hope echoing against the sterile walls.